Hello, everybody. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Just Bleed Radio. Today is Sunday, January 17th, 2025, and this is the Weekend Roundup. What is going on, Bleeders? Welcome once again to the greatest show nobody's ever heard of. This is episode 37 of the Weekend Roundup, your one-stop shop for combat and comedy. Every Monday morning, right in your fucking pie hole. Suck on that. So without further ado, let's get it to the crew that helps it do what it do. Masters of the mix that give you your fix. Three dudes, no chicks. DJ Dave, Chatri, and Steven. A wizard of words, ready for action, steadily sipping upon an old-fashioned. DangerMouse is here. What's up, DangerMouse?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good, good. And though not tall, he's still dark and handsome. My fellow little homie and yours, No Special, is on the call. What's up, No Special?
What's up? I love the little reference you did there, little homie.
I can say that as a representative of the team. And obviously, I am LazyBed, and I'm just wondering who's down because it's time to get into some UFC 311 fight talk. That's right. Grab your Sensimelia, hit the like button, and let's all get higher than that time you smoked a tinfoil bowl in the 7th grade.
Jesus.
All right, we begin the program today with a breakdown like only we can, and we're going to start out from the bottom and work our way up. So allow us to kick things off with a boring slog in the flyweight division. Clayton Carpenter versus Tagir Ulanbekov. Not much to say about this one, right? Right. Ulanbekov takes Carpenter's O in a decision victory. You guys got anything on this?
No, I mean, it was a good fight. You can't blame Carpenter for his performance. He faced a tough dude who's also of that clan that happens to be of the Caucasus. So it's a learning curve because it was a tough fight. You can only do so much with this kind of performance. It's not a bad thing, but it's not the best thing.
Yeah. A youngish guy coming up and taking on a relatively seasoned veteran, I guess, by standards, and just didn't quite have it.
Carpenter only 9 fights into his career at that point, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Yeah, taking on more of the veteran in Tagir. But I will say fun moment from Tagir when he had Clayton up against the cage and he was actually talking to DC. And he picked him up and slammed him and said, "This is for you, this is for you."
Like, that was for you.
That was kind of cool. All right, let's move along. Second fight of the night, we had a chance to figure out what Ricky Tercios was saying as he met fellow bantamweight Bernardo Sopai. Tercios, who I think ought to be in Jed Meshu's top 5 favorite fighters with the way he throws down. He's a fucking weirdo. He loses a hard-fought but lopsided decision to the youngster Sopai. Any thoughts on this one, DangerMouse?
Yeah, Sami Sopai looked pretty good. Tercios just kept coming forward with, I don't think he had the greatest amount of style there. For all these fights, I'll freely reveal that I was sat here interacting with the chat on Main Card Minute and back in the hour on Discord and the MK Discord. So I was only half watching these fights. And because of circumstances the guys know about, I didn't get a chance to rewatch them today. But yeah, Sopai looked good. Sopai looked good. No argument with the decision, except maybe the fact that Tercios actually won a round. I'm not sure he actually did.
It was pretty funny in the Main Card Minute chat when they were having the debate over whether it's Sopaj or Sopai.
Yeah. Well, isn't he the guy that I asked if he looked like, or said reminded me of Houston Jones?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to give Dave a couple of clips.
All right, Austin, what did you think about this one, Tercios versus Sopai?
Well, fuck. If this was a good bounce back for Sopai after being finished, this is good. This was like as close as you can get to like a tune-up fight, I guess. Right? It's not that Tercios isn't capable, but he's definitely not a top 10, top 15 guy. I think Sopai had been off for like a year too, if I'm not mistaken. So
close
to it. Good bounce back performance. and I can't blame the dude for taking time off. Sometimes you just got to work on your craft. He definitely wasn't ready then, and he sure as shit is ready now.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. Yeah, definitely a huge bounce back for him because that KO versus Vinicius Oliveira, whew, that was fucking one of the worst we've ever seen. Uh, Fucking terrible. Next up, keeping with the theme of O's disappearing on the night, one of the UFC's favorite rising stars from the land of the rising sun, Rinya Nakamura against Muin Gafarov. The Japanese curse continues. However, Nakamura lost his O to the veteran Gafarov in a fight that was virtually one-way traffic. Quite the shellacking. Any takeaways on this fight? No special?
Well, if you're going to be unassuming, you might as well be a Gaffarov because we keep forgetting that he's capable and willing. He's got. If you're going to put like abilities of an athlete who's just willing to bang, like you're gonna, and you want him to be unassuming, just like a low key like hitter, that you would put it in Gaffarov because that dude's always willing to fight and he looks good half the time. I mean, hell, he's throwing in some fucking wheel kicks and shit. I mean, this is also a case of think of like not so much of a upset, but like sometimes you meet a bad matchup, a guy who you don't really take as serious, and you don't assume he's going to give you a tough fight, and then you realize, oh shit, he's capable. He's not going to win a title, but this dude is always a tough fight for anybody he faces, and he showed Nakamura that. Nakamura was just taken aback by it, and once he got hit in the face once, it kind of threw off his entire game plan. You can see it.
Yeah,
it happens.
Everyone
Gavrov.
has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Mike Tyson, thank you very much.
Gavrov had Nakamura like swinging at fucking air like several points in this fight, which is shocking. Like he was completely over swinging and missing the target. But DangerMouse, what did you think about this fight?
Yeah, this was one I was very much half watching. I sort of started watching it and thinking that Nakamura should take this one fairly easy. I didn't know much about him at all. And then obviously I started watching it. I was like, oh shit, this is not going the way I want this fight to go. That's pretty clear. And then, as I said, I did a bit of research this afternoon on the question you mentioned, and I found out his foundation style on topology is wrestling. Where the fuck was it? Just where? I think he threw one attempt at it sometime late in the third round or something, maybe. Just a disappointing performance from someone who's supposed to be very good. Other than that, can't say much on it. I picked him, I lost against him, so yeah, fuck him.
I mean, he's highly touted, and it just seems like that's why I mentioned the Japanese curse, because it seems like anytime there is somebody that's a highly touted Japanese prospect in the UFC, like they just meet a terrible fate. Like
I have heard it's because of the difference in them coming across, the way they travel around the globe, as it were, to do with
like a jet lag issue.
I mean, it could very well be that they just wanted him to strike this time, and they assumed that this guy would be a punching bag, and they didn't realize that the punching bag was going to fight back.
All right. Well, oh shit. Look what time it is now, guys. No specials 135-pound women's draft pick. Eileen Perez stepped in to face Brazilian slugger Carol Rosa. Pretty fun battle, but in the end, the nod and the jiggle unfortunately went to the Argentinian Perez, who racked up 15 points for our boy Austin. All I could say in the moment was I was glad my TV did not have smell-o-vision. We'll give Austin his opportunity to gloat here, though. So, no special. What did you think of this fight?
I was nervous. I'll be honest. Having her on my team was not because I didn't believe in her abilities, but because I felt like she was going to be competitive and fight more than multiple times this year. But damn, did Rosa give her like a little bit of a scare in that third round where she was just kind of nearly landing every single leg kick that damaged that leg almost. And she thankfully kept her wrestling base together, and that's what won her the fight. And I couldn't be happier with the performance. Although one of those things where you just kind of like, hey, this is interesting division. They all can kind of end each other's runs at any minute, and this is a division where upsets happen a lot. So Thankfully, that wasn't the case tonight. She pulled out the win. I'm happy for my girl. And hey, let the twerks happen, baby, all day.
It was a good performance. You can't take nothing away from her. Obviously, it had Hosa coming into this, not just because you had Perez, but she is fucking tough. And she does murder the legs, like I mentioned in the preview. You could see the video online of Perez in the post-fight interview showing off the bruises. Can only imagine how those things look today. So, fucking, hey, man, you can't take nothing away from Perez. The only thing I will say is she's calling for a interim bantamweight title match against Kayla, and I don't think that's happening. You're not getting an interim title shot, and Kayla Harrison will fucking obliterate your ass. So you don't want that.
If Kayla can make the weight, I don't know if she can anymore.
All right, let's move it along here. That's enough from Austin. DangerMouse, lover of all things Argentinian, wax poetic on this matchup.
Yeah, obviously disappointed I picked Hosa. She did land a fairly decent amount of leg kicks, as you said. Perhaps she could have landed a few more, might have got the finish that way, or at least won the fight that way. Well done to Eileen Perez. Can't really take it away from her. She did what she had to do and won the fight. She didn't have to do the twerking at the end of it, but I'm very much in Lazy's camp with that one. As I think there was some, maybe I'll clip it out of the Discord and Dave will put it in the video, on the YouTube video. The exchange of gifts that myself and Austin had over this one. But yeah, congratulations. I haven't looked at where Perez is as regards going forwards to any other match. As always, with any lady, they're just lucky they're not at 125 pounds and having to face Dakota Ditchever next.
Okay.
Dakota counter number 1. Okay, let's move it along for the sake of time here. Lightweight prelim next with ATT's Grant Dawson taking on Diego Fajeda. A surprisingly enjoyable fight at moments, with both men blindly swinging hammers. I think I said it in the MCM chat. Quote, throwing down on the feet like that as Grant Dawson is like jousting with a Pringle as a shield. Not smart. Luckily for him, the potato chip chin survives, and he pulls out the 30-27 decisive decision win. No mention of his wife's backside afterwards, but he did offer to fight Benny D as soon as possible in a move that I saw through completely. Nice job trying to play the nice guy, Dawson, but you're not slick trying to get an easy matchup against a ranked fighter. You ain't getting that past me. I see right through it. Any thoughts on this prelim, DangerMouse?
No, just a dominant performance by Dawson, kind of what I was expecting. Very well done. I mean, you can't argue when someone gets 30-27 on all 3 counts. Exciting or dull, it was effective. So, yeah, good job, Grant. Onwards and upwards.
Austin, how about you?
I'm surprised Diego didn't retire after this, because it seemed like he kind of wanted to do his own thing throughout the fight. I don't know if you remember listening to the commentary, because usually I don't, but I was watching this one live, and the commentary was adamant about this upset. Saif Sayud was, because he's out of Fortis MMA, correct?
Yeah.
So it just, because I don't usually listen to Joe either, but like he said, yeah, no, he's like upset. He's yelling at him. Like it was kind of weird, because he just seemed to do the thing he wasn't the thing he probably shouldn't have done, which was engage in the grappling so willingly and then just kind of be on his back. Like it was weird. Like you could hear his corner just be like, no, get up. You can't, no, don't do that. Fight. Like, I'm yelling at the camera, at the TV, fight the hands and you're up. And sure enough, like he just accepted a lot of the positioning, and he got out of it sometimes, but like it was just frustrating to watch him. That's why I'm not surprised he just didn't give up he's 40 years old as a fucking lightweight. That's insane. Right?
Yeah. It really is.
Good for Dawson getting a good win against a tough opponent, but like, hell, even RDA isn't that old, and he's like broken as a fucking lightweight. It's a welterweight, I guess, but whatever. I don't know, man. It felt weird watching this fight, but good for Dawson. Great performance. I don't like the matchup for Benny, but if Benny accepts it, I can't really say anything about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was impressed with Dawson's willingness to throw down despite having zero chin at all. So I mean, hey, if he does face
Oh,
Benny,
gets knocked out one time and now he has no chin.
he got knocked out by a jab. I mean, come on.
I did
Anyway,
that was a good punch. What do you want me to do?
Jabs can be
either way,
dangerous.
if he does face Benny, both their chins are on the fritz, so it could be a good matchup. Could be good. Let's move it on though. Let's move it on. After that, it was time for a little late notice replacement at 205. Lionheart Bogdan Guskov scrapped with UFC newcomer Billy Elikana. It wasn't a good night for the young Elikana, though. A natural middleweight who weighed in at barely 200 pounds Friday morning.
Ooh.
Despite a solid showing in the first, a huge turnaround at the end of the first, and throughout the second for Guskov really turned the tables. Eating some nasty body shots and violent combos, Billy would eventually crumble to a knee and willingly wait for Guskov to take his neck. I said it in chat. Elikana virtually looked up at Bogdan and said, "Choke me, bro. Like, just choke me. End this." Did we learn anything from this fight, Austin?
No, as a matter of fact, we did it. We learned. You say he's a natural middleweight? He looked like a fucking welterweight in there, dude. Like he just tall and lanky. That's what I looked at. I'm like, he's got as much body fat as Michael Venom Page. You know what I mean? But no, Bogdan should have won. Bogdan is not a natural grappler. That's why he kind of struggled with the guard. Just kind of like, I'm going to hold on and not give him a whole lot, and almost got choked out once or twice. But then once he got back up on the feet, it was just like watching a practice where you're like, oh yeah, the light heavyweight's going to kill the smaller guy because the smaller guy can't take the punishment. Hey, what are we doing here? You know? But it took Bogdan a minute to get him, and Bogdan was eating shots, getting to him. This isn't a good look for Bogdan, but he had to get the win no matter what, even if it was ugly. So congrats to that. But like, bad showing for the new guy, just because you can't eat punishment like that, even if you're confident in your skills. You just can't do that on a regular basis. So,
Yeah, no.
I would give them both a D.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it from the angle of that was kind of a bad showing from Guskov, considering how he did seem to have a tough time figuring out how to get that guy out of there. And that guy he was fucking ready to go. Like, bro, your UFC debut, I don't care how short notice it is, you can't just fucking sit there on one knee and wait. You can't just sit and wait. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
DangerMouse, what do you got on this? Anything?
Yeah, this one was. I was a bit more attached to this one, I think, but a couple of more drinks deeper, probably. Yeah, as you said, Guskov, our junior replacement, Anthony Smith. Yeah, did take his time getting rid of this guy. I didn't know anything about him. I certainly didn't know about the weight issues that you just mentioned, Lazy. And yeah, it was just kind of funny. There's Elikana on one knee, as you said. He's taking a barrage of blows, and he's. I didn't see the actual look up, Lazy, but I'll have to look for it if I ever get hold of this fight to review. Yeah, and it was like, stick a fork in me, I'm done. And fortunately, Guskov finally recognised the moment, sunk the guillotine in, and gave him the option to bow out gracefully. He just didn't want to verbally tap. He was done.
Yeah.
He could have tapped if he'd have wanted to. But yeah.
I think that's literally what it was too. Like he was just, he wasn't going to tap to strikes, and he wasn't going to verbally submit. So he was just like looking for that door. He was looking for the exit, and all Bogdan had to do was even threaten the choke, and I think that guy would have tapped. Like he was ready.
Yeah, and
Wow.
don't think Dana wants to notice that as well. So
Yeah, very true. Hopefully he gets a little bit of slack for. I think that was like, I don't know, a couple of days notice or something. So
yeah.
Whatever. Let's move it along. We're not getting too far off track here though, because we got back-to-back short notice fill-ins. This time at middleweight, as former mullet Zach Reese met the UFC debutant and current LFA 185-pound champ Azamat Bakoyev. Maybe Reese should have kept the hair because just like Samson, he was obviously sapped of all his powers when he lost it. Knocked fully unconscious at 3:04 of round one, and the referee didn't help matters with the slide tackle. But what did we think of the violent finish by Bakoyev here, DangerMouse?
This is funny. I think you've actually just stole a line I used on the next fight there, in the Make a Minute live chat. Do you know? I don't know if I went for a smoke or what the hell I did. I have no memory of this fight whatsoever.
Oh my god!
Honestly, I should have asked it. Look at it, 3 minutes for, I don't know, whatever happened, something happened, and I genuinely have no memory of it.
He damn near killed the man, is what he did. Well, okay, well, that's
sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. There's DangerMouse. That's DangerMouse, folks. No special. What do you say about the debuting Russian here?
God damn, that's what I'll say. Like he went for the takedown and you wouldn't look at him and think he's a killer. He just looked like a big, strong. Not he's shorter in the division, but he's like a block of muscle. Like he looks stocky as shit for this division, which is interesting considering where he comes from. But the minute he got him on the mat, and it wasn't even like he was landing clean strikes to his face. He just like landed him, and it was over. And the ref actually did, I think, a majority of the damage, but that's neither here nor there, right? But damn, dude, this guy. I mean, hey, good for him. Got in. He did a little salute to the firefighters, which I was happy about, and said "LA, stay strong" and stuff. It's nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Dude's dangerous. Just keep feeding this dude like random names. Don't give him anybody ranked. I want to see this dude see like if he can actually make a interesting little run. Damn it! If I couldn't have fucking picked him.
I do remember the ref diving on top of someone. That rings a bell. But other than that, I don't remember much about the fight at all.
Fortunately, I did pick this man, and that's because I was a bit familiar with his story and with his recent fights. As a viewer of the B leagues, I watched a lot of LFA. Caught this guy's last fight, and he absolutely destroyed the dude that he fought in that one. But just real quickly before we move on, I want to give a little backstory. I actually mentioned this last night in the MCM chat. This is directly from Sucker Punch Entertainment, which I guess is the representing agency or whatever for Bakoyev. He left his small village of Verny Zigid and came to America 2 years ago to train at American Top Team and did not speak a word of English when he signed. He became the LFA middleweight champion. During this time, he sold all of his belongings and saved all of his money driving for Uber so that he could follow the UFC from city to city just to try to bump into Mick Maynard and get the attention of the UFC. So that's a dedicated fucking dude, and then to come out and have a showing like that, like, yeah. Good on you, bro.
Yeah. Best thing they could do is just give him fights.
Yeah. Hopefully he keeps fucking destroying dudes because I like the guy for what it's worth, and he's fun to watch.
Well,
hell yeah.
I picked him too, so I can be happy on that one.
Okay, and in the final and featured prelim of the night, my would-be young stalwart Peyton Talbot racked me up a whopping 5 fantasy points when he laid a rotten egg against that son of a bitch, Ronnie Barcelos. Nothing to see here, nothing to discuss. Total crap, total BS. No, really though, a tough step up for the youngster, and he did not have what it took to thwart Barcelos in this fight. So go ahead and rub it in my face. Who wants to go first?
I can jump in and say a few quick words. I did watch this one. I could see Ronnie Barcelos was doing a pretty good job of handling Peyton Talbot. I was enjoying it because we were taking the mick out of Lazy somewhat. Because I was like, I picked Peyton Talbot, but I really don't care if I lose this one or not. It'll hurt Lazy in the draft if he loses. Great performance by Ronnie Barcelos. Unfortunate job by Peyton Talbot. He didn't fight badly. He was just outmatched, and I think that's about it. I mean, you can see it in the scores. Got it looking up now. Someone gave it the final round, 30-26 score by one of the judges. I'm not sure which round he gave him the 10-8 in. But yeah, great job by Ronnie. Again, a veteran proves to the young punk that they're maybe not quite ready yet, or ready, but I don't know. Yeah, good job by Ronnie. What more can you say, really? Great job.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah. My only solace in all this is my conspiracy theory that I came up with, that Peyton Talbot actually wanted to lose this fight so he could get rid of that zero and some of this media attention because he doesn't like the spotlight.
Yeah.
Austin, go ahead.
Just very quickly jump in there. I did say my normal thing is never bet against the hour, and here we have 4 going down in this card. So yeah, sorry. Yeah. Carry on, Austin.
Yeah, speaking of O's, Austin, go ahead and tear me a new asshole.
No, truth be told, I also picked Peyton on this one, mainly because I thought Ronnie, now that apparently we had to be corrected on that one. He's a 5-time world or jiu-jitsu, or I'm sorry, 5-time Brazilian wrestling champion. I believe Pan Am's champion too. I think basically he has a very solid wrestling base, is what I'm trying to get at. And he showed. I kind of forgot that he has that in his pocket, mainly because when he came into the UFC, he kind of used his striking to kind of hide the fact that he was a good wrestler. So when he faced other talent, Umar knocked him out in the first round, and Casey Lighting's teammate had also beaten him, and Hani had kind of traded wins and losses not too long ago, and I kind of figured, okay, he's in his late 30s, he's fought really good competition. It's kind of been 500 as of late. I don't think he's got enough to get past this young buck, and pretty much he showed me wrong. I'll admit I did not think he had it in him, and he proved me wrong. However, this is not a terrible look for Peyton. This is just another, hey, it's okay. You're not there yet. It shows. Everyone fucking loses in this sport except for Khabib, but still, it happens. You can't be mad at a good loss. You can't be mad at a good loss. That's I think that's the thing to take from this.
Well,
You look good. You look good in parts. It happens. Sometimes some guys show up better and end up taking the decision. That's all.
well, I'm gonna be hard on him as his fantasy draft owner. You looked like shit, brother. Get your fucking ass in that. Get your ass in that goddamn wrestling room and put on your singlet. And I don't want you leaving that fucking gym, that wrestling room, for 6 months. No, less than. Because you got to compete sooner than that. I need some wins. You got 3 months in the wrestling room, brother, and I need you back in the cage.
At least you didn't get knocked out. So.
And grow the fucking hair back, you son of a bitch. All right, let's move along. It is now time officially to get into the main card, because we got the opener for the night, a little middleweight tone setter with more fantasy draft implications for our very own Super Dave Fairtex. The Dutch duel, as it was dubbed, Reinier de Ridder versus Kevin Holland. Quick work for this Stoffswieger user, RDR, as he wraps up an RNC and finishes Kev at 331 in the first. Dave manages to put together 5 points, much like I did with Talbot. That's right, I said Talbot, because he's butt. But if you take him at his word, though, Kevin's going to fight at least 4 or 5 times more this year. So
he said 6 or 7, didn't he?
Yeah. So he's got plenty of fights coming. Anyways, Austin, you rolled with RDR on the preview show, much like myself. What did you think of his performance here against the Trailblazer?
He said, no, I'm not trying to mess around and lose and possibly get knocked out. He went immediately for the takedown. Smart man. Kevin Holland is a dangerous man on the feet. This is a great decision to have. But it also shows that Kevin Holland reminds us that he likes the idea of being challenged in something to see if he can, and he'll fuck around and find out if he is or isn't. And he kind of found out, oh yeah, he wasn't mad about getting choked out either. He just knew, if I go to the ground, there's a chance I'm going to lose, but I'm going to try to fuck around and see if I can, get possible submission or some shit, right? But this is I there's 2.0 versions or like 1.5 versions, right? This is like Luke Rockhold, just 0.5. Less of the striking, more of the grappling, 100% of the weirdo. But it was good. RDR is there, and he took out a decent middleweight who's not even a true middleweight, if I remember correctly. But hey, it's just keep doing this thing, keep doing the thing, and hopefully we'll find him in the top 10, and eventually we'll see him challenge one of the top guys. But he's not there yet. He's on his way though, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he is down there now at Killcliff with Henry Hooft. So hopefully the Dutch kickboxing is just kind of like genetic, and he can just start absorbing it via his fucking roots or something. I don't know, but he needs to start picking up on some of that striking because, yeah, it's not really there. But I will say, like you said, Austin, very very smart game plan because that was Hamzat level quickness on that takedown. He shot that takedown immediately. There was no fucking around. Danger Mouse, you found yourself on the wrong side of the tracks on this one, railroaded by the Dutchman. What did you think of the fight, and what kind of advice would you give to Holland at this point in his career?
Okay. Why the fuck did I pick Holland? I just don't fucking know. For a start, he's a blown up welterweight, with the fact which I'd missed beforehand, fighting at middleweight. I don't really know. This was one of those. It was one of two fights actually that I seriously considered changing, but I didn't because, as Austin once said, "I'm a man, god damn it." Yeah, I'm a man and therefore a fool. I really should have fucking changed this one and another one that we'll talk about in a bit. Yeah, I'm not surprised Kevin Holland did what Kevin Holland does. Turns up, has a bit of a play around, decides he's had enough or whatever. In this case, he got choked out pretty easily. He didn't get hurt doing it. Derrida, the Dutch Knight, who I should have picked in the first fucking place. This is what I get for doing picks on short notice on a Sunday night when I'm slightly drunk. Yeah. Congratulations. Congratulations, Derrida. Fuck you, Kevin Holland. I don't care what you do in your career. I'm never picking you again. You could fight, honestly, you could fight Dakota Dishever and I would still fucking pick Dakota right now. He'd probably let her whack him with a liver punch or liver kick and go down underneath that. Yeah. Sorry, go on, Lazy. What was the question again? I just had a minor rant there.
No, I think you kind of answered it because I was asking you what advice you would give to Kevin Holland, and I think that's pretty good advice. It doesn't matter what you do at this point.
Yeah, one last thing. Good luck, fucking Dave, on picking him.
Oh,
those five points of fight will soon rack up.
Shit.
Oh, goodness gracious. I gotta get myself together.
Revenge.
Yeah, basically the most offense that Kevin Holland had all night was his offensive language when he was yelling at Frank Trigg as he was laying on his back, referee Frank Trigg for this fight. So, yeah, apparently complaining RDR need him in his head while he was on his back. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, not a good showing for Kevin Holland. Sorry, Dave. Okay, let's move on. All right, we followed that funk fest with a couple of hefty heavies. Sergey Spivak versus Jailton Almeida. For what it's worth, yet another fun fight, and that's a little bit shocking in this division. Nice TKO finish via ground and pound from the back mount for Almeida with less than 10 seconds to go in the round. I didn't really think Spivak looked bad here. Just kind of felt like Almeida looked really good. I don't know what you guys think, but let's go to Mouse first on this one because he loves when the big boys rumble. DM, what do you got on Spivak versus Almeida?
Yes, Spivak, of course, a former opponent of Tom Aspinall. I was surprised when Spivak came in. He looked much more, trimmed than he usually does. This wasn't a fat guy at the Apex kind of fight, although obviously we always called heavyweights a fat guy at the Apex. And I was actually a little bit upset at the start. I was thinking, hang on a second, have I missed a winner here with Spivak looking like he was dominating at the start? And then just Almeida was just patient, slick. He eventually got a reversal, managed to get back to his feet, landed that nasty little uppercut that it's very difficult to see. The commentary spotted it. Then a follow-up right hand, and that was the beginning of the end. He knocked him down after he'd been up against the side of the cage a bit. Took him, well, once he'd hit the floor, got mount, he rolled over, pounded away at his head, and that was it. Really, really nice job by Jailton Almeida. A bit more impressed with that performance than I've been of anything else really of his, I think, recently. And Spivak didn't look bad. Honestly, physically looked great. But yeah, just met his match in this one, I think. Good result from the heavyweights. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was really I'm glad you brought that up. I was really impressed with the physique of Spivak because he's typically not, your human specimen, if you know, to say the least. So he came in looking pretty trim, pretty, svelte. So yeah, I had some brief moments of worry as well. I was on the Almeida side in the Discord picks, but in the end, good win. No special. A couple of heavyweights with title hopes in the future. What was your angle walking away from this bout?
And I usually am the one that errs on the side of caution for stoppages. I did believe the stoppage was slightly early, but you can't just sit there. And he was pinned down and after being hurt. And interesting that he was taken down after Almeida kind of hurt him, like on the feet, like Mouse said. Like he literally caught him. Spivak's like, oh shit. And then gets him to the fence, and instead of committing to the stand-up, takes him to the mat. I almost thought that was going to save him and get into the second round, considering that Spivak initiated the takedowns at the beginning of the round and then kept his pressure, got reversed, got the reversal himself, and then Almeida just showed that, hey, that athleticism comes into play in this division, and if you're an athlete, this is almost like a cheat code for this weight class. So, great showing from Almeida, just staying composed, keeping to the game plan, and then pouncing on opportunities. He still has a little bit more to work on, but he's getting there. This is proof in the pudding that he's actually working on his finishing abilities. And then as far as feedback is concerned, it sucks. It fucking sucks because I thought he was doing well, but it just you can't drop opportunities to your opponents, and especially in this weight class where all it takes is a one moment of miscalculation and you might just end up on the mat in the wrong end.
Yeah, I like that verb you used there, pounce. That was a good way to describe just the way that Almeida kind of took that opportunity. But I really my biggest takeaway from this fight was that this was some of the better and more entertaining heavyweight grappling I've ever seen in the UFC. Like that, even though it was only one round, like there was some really nice scrambles and position changes and reversals and something you don't normally see from the big boys. So for them to show that kind of athleticism and that kind of prowess in that department was kind of cool to see. And yeah, it does suck for Spivak because the commentary was talking like this is like a nail in the coffin for him, like he might potentially get cut. I don't know if it's that extreme, but what is that, 2 in a row, 2 bouts in a row for
Okay,
him?
because we're gonna cut Spivak and not fucking Ty, who's on a goddamn 7-fight losing streak. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Got to keep someone for Australia. Shout out JK.
Goodness. Okay, from heavy to light heavy, we take a slightly smaller jaunt down to 205 for a battle of two former champions as Yuri Prohashka took on Sweet Dreams Jamal Hill. What a fucking fight, guys. Gotta be my personal fight of the night. All credit to the fight we'll get into after this, but this was a fucking amazing battle. Yuri gets the third round finish via TKO from some violent ground and pound, but all credit to Jamal Hill, who showed a lot of recoverability and toughness and heart. Guy takes a lot of shit, and he's not one of my personal favorites, but he's a good fighter and he's tough. Some say a bit early of a stoppage, perhaps, but I think that Jamal was on Dream Street. Big kudos to the Czech Samurai also for bringing along his biggest fan, a young lady named Ashley, who is valiantly battling cancer. Surely we've all heard this story by now, but which what a great prize that he gave her with his W, her being there in attendance. So thought that was really cool. Also, pledging $50,000 to her medical expenses, which was kindly matched by Dana. So big ups to them for that, anyways. So yeah. Back to the fight itself, though. Austin, give us your rundown on this battle of former champs.
Well, first off, I did pick Jamal Hill. I assumed Jury was not capable of learning from his losses. And I was told that, by Jury himself. Hey, fuck you and your interpretation of my fights. I'm going to do what I want. And he looked better, man. He looked like he's like, you know what this reminded me of? It literally is like a mirror image of the Rakic fight. Not one for one, but like, I don't care what you're going to do. I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to heap loads of fucking power strikes at you, and you're going to eventually lose. It doesn't matter how. And he fucking clipped him right off the bat. And my first thought was like, oh shit. God damn it. No. Like Jamal, I think, forgot who he was fighting at one point, because he kind of like was, trading strikes with him. They weren't like, hurting, Jury. But like the minute Jamal got clipped, Jamal forgot what it was like to get hurt and still have to fight. And you could see the fear, not so much from him getting hurt, but like, oh shit, I'm not the one that's leading the dance. Like he's used to being the one that if I hit you, you're going to react, and I'm in control of the fight. This is the first time he ever got put on the back foot where he got hit and still had to act in the fight while not being in control of it. And you could see that. And he was struggling with it, especially just Jury just in a flow state. Like Jury was not at all worried about whatever Jamal was throwing at him. Sometimes he got caught, he reacted, and then he would adjust. He learned on the job, and it was incredible to watch, because Jury's not that guy you look at him and think, oh, that technique is going to be the best thing in this division. No, he's a psychopath. What are we doing here? No, he's, what does Jed say all the time? He's fun. You got to cheer for him because he's fun. And God damn it, if he didn't do both the thing, where you're being fun and you're also being a good fighter. Like, because that's what he looked like in there. Jamal just played into his game pretty much verbatim, and it looked like it. And hey, hats off for Jamal for surviving. This was a wake-up call for him. Maybe learn how to, keep your chin out of the air for a little bit, and maybe you'll come back better. But you can't give enough credit to Jury for pulling out this win. I think a lot of people were picking him just because they had belief, but not a whole lot of know-how. The shitty part for this is that he has 2 losses to the goddamn champion. So
yeah. It seems almost as though Yuri can only lose when there's black magic involved. That's fishy. Fishy. But yeah, like you said, fucking Austin. Yuri is like Jed Mashu says, he is that large violence idiot. He's a fucking madman in there, and I think you can't train for that, for one. But I think that Yuri did show improvement, surprisingly, in this fight. He did show growth. Those hands were actually up in the air at times, not all the time, but at times, and he showed phenomenal head movement. The head movement was really on display, and he was hitting him with that Luke Thomas offbeat striking, that split beat, that half beat, bop, smacking him. And yeah, he'll just, while he did recover well, it seemed like you said, Austin, that he wasn't used to that. He wasn't used to the fight transitioning in that sense, and him not being in control. But I don't know. That's enough for me. DangerMouse, what did you think of Yuri versus Jamal?
Yeah, Jamal most, as someone quipped in the Discord. Yeah, I thought that was good as well. I picked Hill. I said at the time, in fact, I'll just go back a little bit. Roll your minds back to when we did the preview show and who went first. And I think it was Austin. And I was really up in the air on this one. I didn't know who to pick. And knowing it was Austin that picked Hill, I really should have gone the other way, but I didn't, because I didn't like Hill. And I kind of agreed with Austin. I thought that Hill was going to be do something crazy or something. I don't know. He's got a bit of power behind him. Maybe he hits Jury and knocks him down, but he didn't. He lost it. I don't really mind. It's one of those things. Like I said, it was a hate pick anyway, so I can not worry too much about it. Despite my picks were so fucking bad this week. Yeah, we had. I forget whether it's first or second round when Jury got slightly clipped in the nuts, and it was looking like the referee might step in, and Jury waved it off. And I was thinking, is he trying to summon a flashback from Hill there? But yeah, jerky Jury, just slipping punches effectively, but not with very much style, I don't think. Yeah, congratulations, Jury. Did a nice job, got the finish. I think everyone was expecting to go over in the first round, and it went all 3 rounds. We got a nice finish. Jury carries on, as Austin said. Who the hell knows what he's going to get next, because he can't fight Alex again right now. Hill, one of the reasons I shouldn't have taken him was because he's actually relatively inexperienced. Won the title kind of flukily. So I guess it's back to the minor leagues for him for a while. Fight someone from inside the top 15. And Jury, who the hell knows, fight somebody else in the top 5, top 7. Good luck.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see maybe Hill take on Khalil Roundtree, like was already previously scheduled once. I think that would be a fun fight. Both guys coming off losses.
That could be fun. I could live with seeing Hill getting beaten up by Khalil.
And then
I know.
Just want to quickly say the one thing Hill needs to do is go on a bloody diet. It looks like, dad bod or what.
I mean, he's always looked like that.
Yeah, well,
but
then for Yuri, I would like to see Yuri take on the winner of Olberg Blachowicz.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
I haven't looked.
So
yeah, sounds okay.
And the winner of that could potentially find themselves in a title fight, but it's possible. The last thing I want to say before we move on from this fight, though, I just want to quote Yuri in his post-fight interview with one of the most Yuri quotes ever. It reminded me of like an Alexander Usyk or something like that. He said, and I quote, "I will be every time me, Yuri Prochazka, 2025."
That was a good one, LazyBed. You were right. Nailed it.
That's fucking great. I will be every time me. Yes, you will.
It's very deep.
So a man of many words. So curious.
Is that Stoicism, Buddhism, Zen Buddhism? It should be Zen Buddhism if he's into the samurai lifestyle. He should start coming. Should start coming up with haikus every time he wins a fight.
That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's his new gimmick.
Let's move along. Next, guys, it was time for your co-main event of the night with the bantamweight title teetering in the balance. Challenger Umar Nurmagomedov took on defending champion Merab Dvalishvili in what I would call a 5-round classic. The highest level of 135-pound mixed martial arts in the world on display last night. 25 minutes of nonstop pace. In another bout with fantasy draft consequences, as our very own No Special was looking to net himself some serious points in this one if things went his way. Unfortunately, the Georgian juggernaut, who is more machine than man, ground down the Dagestani contender. Let's not delay the fight talk any longer. Danger, as I understand, you are fresh off of viewing this fight. So let's get your analysis first. Give me your biggest takeaways from the first loss on the record of one Umar Nurmagomedov.
Okay. Yeah, this was funny. I didn't mention before, I fell asleep during the Yuri and Hill fight, bizarre as that may sound. And I woke up as the 3rd round started for this fight. So I watched it from there, saw the result, and then I have rewatched this fight this afternoon. Yeah, great job by Merab for a start. Just let me say that one. At the start, I had Umar up 2 rounds, super close. Numbers identical for both rounds. I had Aaron Bronstatter agreeing with me. Kevin Aoli agreed with me. They both had Umar up 2 rounds at the start. And then Umar just came back and took it away from him. again, Merab, I know Austin's going to go on this, but I'll steal a little bit of his thunder. Merab was just playing the optics there like a master. Nick's favourite word. Just playing the crowd so well. Congratulations again. Again, just quickly throwing in there, Lazy was going to be gloating here, but he didn't pick Merab on his draft. So how much does he really love him? You have to ask yourself that question.
Strategery.
Yeah, for Umar, what's he going to do? He's going to go away and he's going to have to fight someday. Probably 2 fights to get another crack at the belt. I think there's a lot of options for him. Probably, as I said, I've put down here, probably someone outside the top 5. We have Davison Figueiredo, who just fought Marlon Vera. So we have Davison on a win, Marlon Vera on a loss. That's number 5 and 6. Either one of those arguably could fight Umar. Because we know the UFC likes to put loss with loss, so that'd be Vera, Davison.
No, he fought. Davidson fought Jan and lost.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Recently. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, sorry. I'm getting mixed up there. But nonetheless, yeah, Davison, I guess, could fight Umar because he lost to Jan. I don't think Jan should fight Umar. It's a bit unfair on him in certain respects. Vera's coming in off a loss. He could fight him. Henry Cejudo has some legacy behind it, I guess, to some degree. Not sure if he has a fight lined up. The one that stands out to me is perhaps Mario Batista. And that's who I'd put against him next.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Again, it's the Dagestani clan, the Nurmagomedov team. They don't lose fights very often. This was one of the first times we've ever seen it. Umar looked really, really good for 3 rounds and then started to fade. And Merab just showed him what the champion was. And I'm not sure did Umar hurt his hand or am I thinking of someone else?
Yeah, him and his management team have said that he hurt his hand, and they, in fact, they sent out a round of photos of his broken hand to all the media within about 5 minutes of the event ending to make sure that they could all know that he fought with a broken hand.
Well, I did hear Khabib, according to the translator, obviously, because it was in Russian, shouting at him that he had to wrestle, and that was the 3rd round onwards. So I'm wondering if that was the point where my hand doesn't work anymore. Well, you're going to have to bloody wrestle then, kid. So, yeah. But, yeah, again, congratulations, Merab. Relative congratulations, Lazy. You made the right pick, but it doesn't affect the league, so you're welcome to it.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure that the boo boo on his hand hurt pretty bad, but Merab was in there with a spinal injury and a staph infection in his fucking leg, and he was on antibiotics. But anyway.
Oh wow! Let's go ahead and throw out the excuses. Let's go.
Oh shit! Here we go, folks. Austin, let's hear your thoughts on this bantamweight championship fight. Go ahead.
This was the rightful, my particular cup of tea is this type of fight. 2 highly capable fighters fighting for a title and it being a tactical display. Not a boring fight by any means, but it's not just a slobber knocker. It's not I like it, when 2 highly skilled fighters are fighting for a title and it's not just, a brawl. This is a fight that I truly admire. And for all the talk leading up to it, Merab actually showed up. And I don't know if it was so much trickery, but it was more of experience. Hey, kid, I've been here. You haven't. I'm going to show you what it's like being here. And if I'd be damned if Merab didn't just, put Umar in his place in the last round. Good first 2 rounds for Umar, keeping the striking and defensive wrestling going and keeping Merab off the back foot, aiming for, timing his shots and, striking selection and then, controlling the pace. That stopped the minute the striking was no longer in his control and Merab kept the wrestling going on a regular basis. He was even having success on the feet from the 3rd round on. Pushing him, keeping Umar backpedaling a little bit more, pushing the wrestling game on a regular basis, and just keeping Umar guessing. Merab was just all over him. and you can't take anything away from him. The only thing I can say is that maybe it was a little too much too soon for Umar. But hey, he was 18-0. There was not much you could have done, and this is not a terrible look for him, as much as some, like over at MMA Fighting, might say, and our own Lazy might suggest. But hey, he's undefeated. What are you gonna do? Sometimes this happens in MMA. I believe, what was the thing? All 4 undefeated fighters lost tonight on this card. It happens. I don't think you could do a better job than at least, hey, I put my best effort and got beat by the fucking champion. You can't say anything better than that, right? It wasn't like a drubbing either. Like, he didn't get 50-45 in there, or 40 4 or whatever. He put up a fight. Damn the hand being injured, whatnot. Like, he still went in there and fought. Am I disappointed in the result? Absolutely, I am, man. I was this fucking close. All I had to do was win the goddamn 3rd round. But no, shit happens. I just got to eat the shit and come back better. And Numer's in there. Guaranteed 2 wins this year. I'm pretty sure of it. He'll get back in there, and we'll see him back in there again. As far as Merab is concerned, he's got nothing but rematches. Hey, looking forward to all the rematches we're gonna get out of Merab. Whoop-de fucking do.
Not his fault. He's run through the division already.
I know. He could have. This is why I wanted this fight to come in, not to get Merab out of the picture, but because it was a fresh matchup, and Umar deserved to be there. That's all I got for it.
Last points that I'll make to button this fight up. One, I'll take nothing away from Umar. He did look very good, and man, his fucking kicks are fast. Those kicks are goddamn lightning bolts. I was very confident that Merab would win. I felt like he would do what he did, but I would be lying if I didn't say that I was fucking worried. Even when Umar was completely spent in rounds 4 and 5, I was worried that one of those kicks could come up and catch Merab and end the night fucking early. So he is a threat at all times. So all kudos and respect to him. He will be back. This is nothing more than a speed bump for him, and if anything, it should serve him well. A lot of these guys that lost their O's could easily bounce back from what they encountered. But the other thing that I wanted to mention before we move along, last night Merab did do something quite incredible, overtaking George St. Pierre for the most career takedowns all time in the UFC. Smashing GSP's record, and obviously going to continue to smash that going forward. So he's probably going to set a pretty impossible precedent going forward for anyone that looks to catch him in that record. So
yeah, I was ready to jump in there if you had forgotten that one. That was in my notes.
Pretty fucking cool. Pretty cool. And then the last thing I want to mention is the quote in Georgian on Merab's trunks. Copied this down when John Anik said it on the broadcast. Badass fucking quote. I think he lived it last night. Fighting when he shouldn't have been forced to, earlier than he should have, dealing with certain circumstances, injury, infection, etc. That quote in Georgian on his trunks, it's better to die with honor than to live with disgrace. Shout out fucking Merab. You machine, son of a bitch. Let's go.
Do you know where that one comes from?
I know
where that quote comes from. That's actually very, very similar to the Gurkha quote.
Maybe it's yeah, that's cool. But let's move it along. Final match of the night, guys. Final match of the night.
Woohoo.
The main event of UFC 311, a remixed affair featuring number 10 Hanato Money Moicano against reigning lightweight king Islam Makhachev. A bout that was supposed to feature Arman Tsarukyan. You've all heard the series of events that got us here. Many folks claiming Arman's secret weapon was pulling out of the fight. Plenty to discuss, so I'll leave it more or less open-ended for you guys. Mr. No Special, the final fight of UFC's return to LA. Big stakes on the line, but not without some extenuating circumstances. What do you got for us on this main event?
Well, this wasn't the fight we wanted, but it was the fight we got. And God damn it, if Islam isn't one of the best, if not the best lightweight of all time, it should have been Arman that he fought, but that's neither here nor there. We'll discuss that possibly in a minute. But He did fight a quality opponent in Moicano, and Moicano kind of proved like, yeah, not so much that he so much deserved to be there, but he was going to find his way there regardless at some point. Might as well be tonight. Circumstances be damned. And sure enough, like he clipped, like he didn't hurt him. I think he kind of like caught him off balance. Not so much of a knockdown, but like caught him in, bad position and put him on his butt. And then as
He's-
Islam was throwing some strikes, it was a slip.
Yeah, it was a slip. The broadcast crew said they caught it on capture.
Okay, yeah, that's what I kind of figured. I couldn't pause it to figure it out, but it just he tried to get him, and Islam is too fucking good, man. I mean, he's a champion for a reason. I mean, the willingness to immediately not so much abandon the strikes, but like, okay, well, we're playing a little too much on the striking game to question my wrestling ability. So he went for the takedown, got it, and then forced Moicano to move, and Moicano managed to find an opening, left it, and then immediately Islam jumped on the darce, and then it was over from there. Like you could just tell, like Moicano knew the minute it was on, it was over, and that was a wrap. Not much you talked about in this fight except the circumstances leading up to it. Out. I mean, Islam is he gets another title defense. It should have been Armin, but it's a shame that we didn't get the fight that we needed. It's not it's not bad for Islam. It's just unfortunate because this should have been against Armin, a guy who had been climbing the ranks, and unfortunately, circumstances are still not clear as to what exactly happened. It could have been a weight cut situation or a back injury. Again, there is no consistency with what we're hearing, but from what I understand, Dana is saying that he has to fight again.
Yeah.
Which, who are you going to fucking put up against? He's already beaten most of the division, but depending on what happens in the welterweight division, either Islam goes up or he stays down. So that's a whole nother argument.
We could have an answer. We could have an answer to what we do with him in the brief segment that'll follow this main event. So hold on to that thought.
Gotcha. That's all I had.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? Oh. Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out was the commentary. They made a good observation as the submission was taking place. The squeeze on Islam has to be just absolutely insane. Like that guy must squeeze like a fucking python because guys don't just tap when he puts a submission on. They panic tap. Like it's like, get this fucking guy off me. Like I don't want him on me anymore. Please remove him. Like so the squeeze on him must be just outlandish. But all right, DangerMouse, that means that you got yourself the final word on the final fight from the first pay-per-view of 2025. So what do you have to say about Islam Makhachev's performance and subsequently Renato Moicano?
My man, Islam Makhachev. This was just a champion's performance from the very beginning. We had the change of opponent, and he just went, yeah, whatever, I don't care. I'll work up in the morning. You tell me who I have to fight, and I'll fight him. And that's exactly what he did, which has kind of stuffed it in Dana's face. I think that's one of the reasons he's now come out and said that Makhachev is the number one pound for pound, like over his beloved John Jones. It's kind of funny. Yeah, and Islam just came out. We had that little dust up at the start with the striking. Maybe there was some kind of flashback to that early fight that he lost with the slip, but it was a slip. They did capture that. Took Moicano down pretty easily, and then he just very, very patiently sat on him. It was a little bit like a snake trying to watch something die, and then I'm going to eat it when it eventually dies, because he just sat on him, smothered him, bounced him with a few elbow strikes. I think, more shoulder strikes than elbow strikes. A little bit tried a little bit of ground and pound, just tried to make things uncomfortable for Moicano. And then eventually Moicano got the butterfly hooks in there, managed to shrug Islam off. And that was the moment Islam needed. Moicano gave up presented his neck at that moment. And Islam just sank the fangs in, and that was it. Game over. Like you said, the choke came on really, really quickly. A Darce choke or Bravo choke. I don't know which name you prefer to use. Just choose one, please. Just make it easy for us casuals. Call it a Darce choke. We like that. He snapped it on. That was it. All over from Moicano. Great performance by Islam. Champion's performance. Congratulations to Moicano for at least getting a choice at the belt. He clearly made a choice by getting down to 155 pounds pre-fight, so he would be ready for it. Don't know whether he knew anything going off there. And despite Austin being incapable of adding 5 plus 10 plus 10 plus 20 and giving me 55
Oh, wow.
points. I told you I was going to bring it up. And giving me 55 points to the draft.
Airing out
It was my
dirty
anger.
laundry.
So
It's my anger against Lazy's pick. But
so the mouse is slow and steady on this one. The tortoise beats the hare, or starts to catch up on the hare. 45 points, one fight. I know Islam's going to fight again. I know he's going to win again. That's 90 points in the basket for me. He might even fight 3 times in the year. Who knows? I can but pray. Amazing performance.
Yeah. Can't take nothing away from you there. You did, in fact, rack up a pretty nice stack of points. Yeah, man. I just think that kind of sucks for Moicano because it's an opportunity that he was not going to pass up. Nobody's going to pass up a fucking title shot on one day's notice. I mean, who the fuck wouldn't take that? But the guy was on a heater. He was on a hot streak and really piling up the momentum, and to just kind of be derailed now overnight when you weren't preparing for a championship fight, you weren't preparing for an Islam Makhachev. Kind of sucks, especially at his age. Like he said in the post-fight interview, this is likely the last time we're ever going to see him in a championship title fight. So, sucks for him, but fantastic for Makhachev. The guy's an absolute fucking monster. And then, in case you guys didn't catch it when DangerMouse said it a few moments ago, hell froze over apparently, and pigs flew out of the UFC Apex because Dana White finally agreed that Islam is the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world. So, interesting turn of events there.
Yeah, arguably the best lightweight we've ever had. Four defenses of the belt is ahead in that at the very least. Maybe he could pile on another couple of defenses to take him seriously above Khabib's achievements. There's always that O. That's the problem with Khabib. That 29-0. Something about that O.
And one final note about this fight. Umar, take note of Monty Moicano, because that is how you give a speech in defeat. That's how you handle it, brother. That's how you handle it.
wow.
That was couth. That was grace. That was respect. That was an adult, mature man.
He just said he wanted to just see the fight. He didn't know if he lost the fight or not. He thought he honestly did a good job of winning the fight. And they say that my hand is hurt. My bad. I assumed that I thought I was winning. God forbid a guy think that he won the fight. When have we heard that before? It's a new concept. God forbid.
Oh, I'm just fucking with you. This is going to be a fun year. It's going to be a great year. Okay.
God, you get me.
Those were the fights, guys. A fun night of tussles, and we had ups and downs. We had highs and lows and everything in between. So where does that leave us ranking this here first pay-per-view of 2025? Let's find out, because it's time to rate that card. I'll go first here to shake things up. It wasn't the best of times, but it wasn't the worst of times. The Intuit Dome was fucking awesome. It is a great venue. I would really like to see it added to the list of yearly destinations for the UFC. We can't go to the Sphere every year, but we can definitely go to LA and hit the Intuit Dome. So shout out to that. That place was phenomenal. Things didn't go my way on some of the picks or fantasy points. I'll go ahead. I'll say 6.5. So Austin.
Oh my God, that's low.
Hey, what are you gonna do? It's above average. So Austin, how about you, Austin? What do you rate UFC 311 on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, man, like, you can't even be mad at this card. Like, yeah, the main event sucked changing. It's not ideal, but like we still got a finish in the main event. We still got an entertaining co-main event, and we had a barn burner in the feature fight. Like, you can't ask for much more of the main card. And the rest of the fights were pretty fun to watch to begin with. Honestly, this is probably like a 7.5, but I'll settle on an 8 just because my guy Umar didn't win and that bugged me. But hell, he gave his goddamn best effort despite the haters. I mean, and Islam wins. That's always fun. Yeah, nah, a solid 8 for me is what I'll give it.
Well, hey, I like some divisiveness in the scores. I ain't mad at it. All right, DangerMouse, our guy DM, what type of number are you tagging to 311 here?
Okay, I'm not sure on this one. I haven't given it much thought. Early prelims, not exciting for me at all. Pretty boring. Didn't keep my attention that well. Prelim cards, like I said, got a little bit exciting when Peyton Talbot lost. Not that I wish the young man any harm. It was just the fact that Lazy had picked him in the draft. So for me, main card, like I said, I actually fell asleep during the main card. So take that as a judgment if you like. But it was 2:30 a.m. in the morning or whatever, a time when I did fall asleep. How good a score can I give it? Enjoyed the main card, sorry, obviously, the main event. Maravanumar was a good 5-round fight. Jiri and Jamal was a good fight. Jilton Almeida Spivak was surprisingly good. Renee Derrida took care of business very quickly. I'm just struck by the fact that I can't score it very well on the prelims. So I will go 6.75.
A little bit better than me? The counts or something?
Yeah.
Overall, not too terrible for the first pay-per-view of the year. We can always build from here. Okay, all right. Last topic of the day, and this is going to be a super quick, very, very brief, I guess what we could call edition of Lazy's Leftovers. The first announcement coming this May 27th to be precise, the brand new season of The Ultimate Fighter. We got our boys, DC versus Chael. Those are your coaches this year. Guys, any thoughts on DC versus Chael and Tough?
Are we just doing the same thing over again, where we're just putting on the jerseys like it's still 2005, and we're just doing the close-ups in the back room, and they're stuck there. We're gonna have some heated exchanges in the house, some terrible fighting and some good fighting, and none of them pan out. Yeah, why not? Let's fucking do it again. Good. Who gives a shit at this point? Why not?
Yeah, I don't really care much about Tough either. DC, kind of fun. Chael is always fun. I like Chael, always have done. Tough, don't really care about it. I'll probably watch the fights. I'll try and watch the fights. But the antics inside the house, no, sorry, that's like so 2005 or whatever the hell. Yeah.
I'll give them a little bit of credit because it does seem like they're trying for something slightly different this year. I mean, having DC and Chael as the coaches, clearly they're not fighting at the end. So is this going to be a team versus team scenario? Oh, wait, this sounds exactly like what it was when Chandler and Connor coached Tough because they didn't fight either.
Well, the problem is they do a show together, so they're friends. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Well,
really
apparently
make
that's what it's a good guy versus bad guy season. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Whatever. Okay.
The good guy who likes to hold towels down when he's weighing in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second and last, very brief mentions of this Lazy's Leftovers and the final part of today's show. We got some announcements for the March 8th card in Las Vegas. Not only are we getting the return of Justin Gaethje against one Dan Hooker, but we are also getting the main event, the light heavyweight title fight that nobody's been clamoring for, except for the sticklers like Austin, Poatan versus Ankalaev. So what do you guys think? Any thoughts on Ankh versus Poatan and Hooker versus Gaethje?
Oh, thank fucking God it's finally goddamn happening. Jesus Christ, he can only avoid him for so fucking long. God. Yeah, you don't have to like Ankalaev. Nobody needs to like him, but he's the rightful guy to fucking fight for the fucking title. We've been asking for this fucking fight for 2 goddamn years. Finally happening. Thank fucking Christ. He doesn't need to go up to light heavyweight, or I'm sorry, heavyweight. Fuck it. No, he's the defending fucking title. God, no. God, enough of this shit. Fucking defend your belts, man. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I believed Alex was going to fight Ankalaev. I didn't think he was really particularly avoiding him. Ankalaev seems keen to engage on the feet, which will end up very, very badly for him if he does. I picked Alex Pereira to win still be light heavyweight champion at the end of this year. I've already lost one of my champions with Murad not picking up the belt. So I kind of have to hope that Alex wins. But then again, Lazy picked Alex in his champions, in his draft pick. If he loses, Celevi, yeah, I think Alex will still get it done. And Dan Hooker versus Gaethje should be exciting. I'm a bigger Gaethje fan than I am Dan Hooker. Obviously, he got his chin cracked last time against Max Holloway, but hopefully this time round he'll take it to Dan Hooker, win and retire. That'd be kind of cool for Gaethje at this moment. Dan Hooker, yeah. I guess if Dan Hooker gets a win, he'll be chirping and trying to get a shot at the belt, which he'll lose.
Austin,
I just, oh God.
Austin,
I hate that fight.
I was going to say, Austin, this is kind of my circle back moment to what I was saying to hold off a little bit on what do we do with Arman Sarukian. Maybe you give Arman Sarukian the winner of Hooker versus Gaethje.
No, you give him to Chandler. You give him to Chandler because it's an easy bounce back fight, and Chandler will take it because Chandler wants to stay in the title contention talk as much as he's an idiot.
Chandler did put out a tweet, something about how he flew to South Dakota before his fight, his last fight, to get 20 pain injections in his back and and you do what you have to do to make the fight and make weight. I think it was a jab at Sarukian. Maybe you're onto something.
That's my only thinking on what you would do with him, because there's nothing set in stone on what's supposed to be. There's rumors of him possibly fighting Paddy, but that's neither here nor there as far as set in stone. As far as the Hooker and Gaethje fight, I hate that. It should be Hooker versus Charles Oliveira, and the winner rightfully would be the next one in line for the title fight. Mainly because if we're not giving it to Arman, which sucks, I don't. Whatever, fuck it. We no longer give a fuck about meritocracy in this goddamn sport. But whatever. Gaethje could beat him, and then it fucks over Dan Hooker. Yeah, he should have been the guy. If he was the guy, he would win. Yeah, but that doesn't happen in the sport all the time. Sometimes it's about the right matchups. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe Gaethje gets his third title shot.
Yeah, off of one fucking win. Great. Let's fucking just not fucking get these guys like goddamn win streaks anymore. They don't fight more than once a fucking year anymore. Whatever.
Before we get out of here, I gotta say, did you guys catch Poatan in the crowd last night?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a funny video. I don't know if Dave will slip it in or if you guys just want to look it up, whoever's listening. Poatan in the crowd, and it was during the Jamal Hill and Yuri fight, and Poatan stands up and he says, "Sons, stop fighting. Don't make me take my belt off."
I'm gonna have to look for that in there.
All right, well, Bleeders, that'll just about do it for another edition of the Weekend Roundup. A fairly fun night of fights for the first pay-per-view to kick off 2025. Sadly, the UFC goes dark again next weekend. However, there is a pretty decent PFL card going on, so maybe we can get something thrown together for you guys. But until then, amber isn't the color of my energy, but it is the color of my bong water, so that means it's just about time to get out of here. Like, subscribe, tell your mom. For DangerMouse, Super Dave, Chatri, Steven, and Austin, I'm LazyBed. This has been the Weekend Roundup. Peace.
Peace out.
Later.
Shut the fuck up, we can go now.